Taxes actually aren't that complicated. No, seriously, for most of you watching this right now, you're capable of understanding how taxes work and of filing them on your own. Even if you dove deep into the world of investing in crypto this last year, or if you went from employed to self-employed like we did, tax season can be way less complex than you're thinking it's gonna be right now. Also, hey guys, you're back with Steph and Dennis, and today we're here with the video that applies to everyone watching, and that's tax season. We wanna make sure that you're ready to go with minimal stress and procrastination. Today we're gonna be covering what you need to know for tax season, and then we're also going to get into talking about Wealthsimple Tax, which is an easy and free way to prepare your tax return yourself online in Canada. Now, we're actually working with Wealthsimple on this video. You guys know that we talk about and use the Wealthsimple Invest platforms all the time, so we're super excited to be working with them to talk about taxes too. There's also a sign-up bonus, and you could be entered to win $5,000 if you do your taxes with Wealthsimple Tax this year, so keep an eye out for that. And for now, let's just kick it off and get into this video.
All right, so first up, we want to cover in a super easy way to understand what you actually need to know about how taxes work. So we're going to try and piece everything together in a way that actually makes it click for you. In Canada, we have two different types of taxes, federal and provincial. Federal taxes are going to be the same across the board. So if you're making $50,000 in BC and you're making $50,000 in Ontario, you're going to be paying the same amount in federal taxes. Provincial taxes, on the other hand, are different rates, meaning that you're going to pay a different tax amount depending on which province you're in. In Canada, we also have what we call a progressive tax system, which means that as your income grows, so let's say you got a salary increase at work or you grew multiple income streams, then the amount you pay in taxes grows too. Now, the amount that your taxes grows by, that's determined by different tax brackets. And you can kind of picture those like different baskets. And we actually did a recent TikTok video on this, so let's listen to that for a second.
Think of it this way. You have a bunch of baskets, and basket 1 can hold up to $49,000 and is taxed at 15%. Basket 2 can hold another $49,000 and is taxed at 20.5%. And basket 3 can hold up to $54,000 and is taxed at 26%, and so on and so forth.
So overall, if your salary is $49,000, then you're in the 15% tax bracket. If your salary grows to $55,000, then you're now in the 20.5% tax bracket. But get this, only the difference between $49,000 and $55,000 is going to be taxed at that higher rate, so $6,000. That's what we call a marginal tax rate. And listen, the message here is that a higher income is always going to be a good thing. Sure, you pay more in taxes, but you still make more money. So if you live in Ontario making $50,000 a year, I'll throw up on the screen what your federal tax rate would be for 2022, your provincial tax rate, and then finally the total tax rate. And if that still looks a little bit too complicated for you to do on your own, it can be, but let's talk about that some more.
So like Dennis was just saying, actually calculating your taxes for yourself can feel really complicated. One good way to look in on it at any time of the year, not just during tax season, is with an income tax calculator. This one's for free on Wealthsimple's site. You have to say what province you're in, because again, the tax rate is different in different provinces. You fill in all your different sources of income. Let's put a few examples in here. RSP deductions, capital gains, and so on. And then at the same time, your results are populating on the right. So it gives you your total income, your total tax amount, how that's broken up federally, provincially, EI, self-employment, and then what your after-tax income or take-home pay is. And also it tells you your different tax rates below as well. So this is a good way to get a kind of general gauge. But again, we didn't even fill in what your capital gains would be, and maybe you don't know how to calculate for that yourself. And that's what we're going to show you how to do with Wealthsimple Tax in a bit. So now we know what taxes are, but when you're filing your taxes, what are we really doing? You're basically confirming your information from throughout the past year. So that includes what all of your different income sources have been, how much you've paid in taxes already, and then they also add in any tax deductions too. Now, tax deductions are basically different categories that you might be eligible for. Essentially, the government's decided that through these different deductions that you should get a tax break. So let's think of it like this. If you're going to university, but it's really expensive, some people are going to pay that full price because they can afford it, whereas other people might get a loan because of their financial situation. They might get a grant, they might get a specific scholarship because of extracurriculars or high grades, whatever it might be. And basically all those different things are allowing you to get a deduction from the total price that you have to pay. So tax breaks are kind of the same thing. If you donated a certain amount of money to charity this year, or if you bought your first home, or if you're a student, or if you're disabled, etc., those are all different ways that you can pay slightly less less on your taxes. So then all of this information, like your income sources, how much you paid in taxes so far, and these potential deductions, they get put together and reported to the government. And then the government decides if you've actually paid too much and you should get a refund, so they give some money back to you, or if you still owe more on your taxes, so you have to pay them some more money. Now, actually thinking about filing your taxes can feel complicated, but it really can be simple, and hopefully we showed that. But the other thing we want to talk about is how people sometimes pay someone else a lot of money to do their taxes for them, but there are free and low-cost options out there, and you can do it yourself, which is where Wealthsimple Tax comes in.
Okay, so you guys know that we've been talking about Wealthsimple's platforms for a while now, and of course Steph does all of her investing with them and finds them super simple and easy to use, which is honestly why we love their platforms to begin with. When it comes to taxes, they're also really easy to use, and you file for free, which is amazing, right? Because we all know that traditionally it's always come off as super complex and just expensive. You can do your taxes yourself, and if that sounds a little bit scary at first, number one, we're gonna walk you through that in a second. We're gonna show you how it's all done. And number two, Wealthsimple has real human help that you can get to just by reaching out to their support team during any time in the process. Trust me, it feels super empowering to do your taxes yourself, and honestly, you feel confident about it. Before we dive in, I also wanna mention that it's a secure and accurate system. It's NetFile certified and authorized by the CRA and Revenue Quebec, and they guarantee that your return is gonna be done right. Plus, they cover any interest paid if there's a calculation error done by the product. So just something nice to know in advance. But yeah, let's jump into the walkthrough.
Okay, so this is the Wealthsimple Tax site. If you're new to their platforms in general, you can click Get Started here, or if you already have one of their other products, then you can click Login. I've already done that over here. And what's nice is that, like I said, if you do have any of their other products already, like you guys know, I have a Wealthsimple Invest and a Wealthsimple Trade account, or if you have their crypto platform, then it's all one login and you can get to any of these different products from this one spot. So for now, let's click through to tax to get started with that. So you guys are seeing this video either on or after February 8th, so this screen won't be there for you, but because we're filming it in advance to get it up, it's not February 7th yet. What'll happen on or after February 7th is that you'll actually be able to link the Wealthsimple Tax platform and your return up to your CRA My account. What that means is that any of your tax information that's already in there will automatically be able to get transferred over here and help autofill a lot of your tax return for you, which is awesome. It makes it a little bit easier. I'll show you what it looks like manually because obviously the autofill isn't available for us yet, but what you'll have to do is link the two accounts. So for now, because I can't autofill it, I'm going to click Find Forms on my own and move forward from here. So now, because I wasn't able to autofill, I'm actually going to add the actual income tax slips that are relevant to me. So let's click Continue here. And now this is asking what different tax slips I have. So what's nice is it gives you the formal name, T4, T4A, T4E, and then what that means underneath. Okay, so now we're past those preliminary questions and on to what the actual tax return itself looks like. At the top, it's a little more information about you. Most of this we've already filled out, but it's also going to ask you your preferred language and another question down here. The next section is about your NetFile access code. So NetFile is actually what allows you to securely submit your tax documents electronically, which is what's happening on this platform as well. So we talked about the CRA My account. You can log in there to get your NetFile access code. It should be in the account and it tells you all the different places you might be able to find it. You don't have to link it, but it's a good way to be able to actually use the information from your tax return when confirming your identity with the CRA. Okay, so now we're on to the fun part, which is building out your return. Again, ideally you've auto-filled it so far, so it's making it easier for yourself. But the next step here is if you actually invest with Wealthsimple Invest Trade or their crypto platforms, you can import your slips from those directly on here. It's really nice if you already are on this platform, but even if you're not, one of the new features to highlight this year is for crypto users who aren't investing just on Wealthsimple crypto platform. So they do support up to 300 different exchanges and wallets, and it'll automatically calculate your gains and losses for you. Now this feature is available on or after February 21st. So if you're coming in here and filing your taxes after that point, there should be a button for you. And again, no matter where and how many different exchanges and wallets you have cryptocurrency assets in, it'll find all of that for you and actually calculate it for you yourself for free. So that's a great feature there. This next section is something that I was mentioning we talk about in just a second up above, and that's adding other potential tax credits to your return. Now this is really important because this is really going to add on to your refund potentially. If you're a student, for example, you're going to want to add on, if I can find it here, the tuition one, or see if you're eligible for this. If you paid any post-secondary tuition or have any unused tuition credits from a prior year, you're going to want to add this to your return. Another one that might be relevant to a lot of people is if you contributed to your RRSP, you might be eligible for a tax deduction as well. So you're going to want to add that on. Let's see what that looks like as an example. It comes up down here, and then you just fill out a few extra questions about yourself, and it'll calculate what your refund would look like adding this credit on. Again, you can add on multiple tax credits as well, so make sure you go through this whole drop-down list and anything that you might be eligible for, add that on, fill out the questions, and again, add it to your overall return. The last piece here is just reviewing and optimizing, which is a nice feature. Again, it's not going to say much for me right now, considering that I haven't actually filled it out. A lot of it is empty, but it'll give you some examples of things that you haven't filled out that you have to, warnings of things if you haven't filled out either that you might want to, and then other suggestions. Again, if I haven't actually clicked on the climate action incentive, it's telling me that I really should look into if I'm eligible for it or not, and I can accept that suggestion down here. The last piece is the summary, and then also your documents. So it tells you what your refund's gonna be. The other thing I didn't mention at the beginning is that over here on the left, you see the refund $0. As you start to actually add on and answer the questions about your different tax credits and information about you, that amount will start to go up or potentially down, but it'll change for you as you go in real time. At the end here, it tells you your actual totals, so how much you owe in the HST, what your benefit amount's going to be, your overall refund. The last piece at the bottom is just submitting. Now, if you're doing it before February 21st, you'll have to save for now. All your info will be saved and you can submit on that date. And that's pretty much it for the platform.
Okay, so we've seen a bunch of people comment that they want to hear more about taxes on investment income, and we'll be doing a video sometime soon where we're going to dive like super in depth sometime during tax season. But one quick thing to note is that if you're invested in any taxable investment account, like the name, kind of gives it away, you are going to be taxed as if that money is additional income made. So if you have interest, dividends, capital gains, you are going to be taxed. What about cryptocurrency investments, which are only becoming more and more popular? This could literally be an entire video itself, but at a high level, if you're someone who trades crypto, you may have some capital gains to claim on your income tax this year, something that a lot of Canadians might not be aware of. Wealthsimple has some great articles about this that we'll link down below for you to check out if you were one of the millions of Canadians that actually invested in crypto in 2021. But what's most exciting this year is that Wealthsimple Tax will actually calculate your cryptocurrency capital gains and losses across 300 plus exchanges. So even if you traded on lots of different exchanges or have your coins spread across multiple wallets, at the end, Wealthsimple Tax will auto-populate those calculations right into your return. It's that easy.
All right, everyone, that's a wrap for this video. We hope that we made taxes feel really simple for you and that you feel ready to get into tax season, use Wealthsimple Tax, and then feel really accomplished when you do your taxes yourself. Now, another big thank you to Wealthsimple for working with us on this video. We love working with them. And like we mentioned, we'll have a link down below for you to check out the tax platform. And remember, there's that sign up bonus and chance to win $5,000 too. So make sure you check that out. And as always, if you haven't seen some of our previous videos, make sure you check them out next door. And we'll be back later this week with more videos. See you then.